right, all right. This is a result of you know what? Let me put my shades on. That'd be better, so I don't have to squint. The sun coming in my eye. I want to express myself. I don't think I ever did a show with my glasses on, my shades. But anyway, this one is about doing exactly what the sun is doing to me right now, hitting me directly in the face. And I think that's what I feel black sci-fi writers, and actually writers, black writers in general, you know, with black history. I think we need to take a direct approach to it. There's no other way around, you know, still being creative, but a direct approach. And I'm going to give you some examples. So today I found out, or today years old, I watched a video, TikTok video of cities underwater, black cities like Tulsa that had been destroyed by white terrorism, right? Whatever excuse they use, falsely accuse young men, falsely accuse a man, black man, of kissing a woman, whatever it was, they went ahead and did it and used that as a jumping point to burn and attack the town, right? And many of these weren't like 300,000 black people, you know, that's like a war. They went after towns, you know, 1,000, 2,000, couple hundred, you know, enough to be considered a town. And these were in, most of these happened in what they call Red Summer. So whatever the Klan or whatever coordinated effort they had, they went ahead and executed the population of these black towns from the American geography. And then they followed it up by proposing reservoirs that flooded these areas where these towns now are underwater. And that's crazy. There's no way that all of this can be coincidence. So I ain't gonna accept any of that, except white terror and fear of black people is very real. And it's changed. I don't think they can do that now. I'm not gonna dare them because we don't know what they're plotting, but they are there, they were there, and they did things. So racism is real, was real, you name it. The fear of black people lives, baby. And it's dying, so I still think it's dying. Anyway, I think, you know, like when I hear this, you know, as a revolutionary activist, I feel, oh my God, I gotta do something. Now in my 20s, I might have been like, oh my God, let's go out and protest. You know, there's a demand for reparations for these descendants, but many times there probably ain't any, you know, descendants, because they killed everybody in the town. You know, I know some people got away, but that, you know, given, you know, like 20, you know, even if it's 500 legacy descendants, right? In reality, they victimized and killed a whole lot of people. So how does a few reparations for a few suffice for like the whole destruction of a town? I don't know how you make up for that, but something's got to be made up for it. And, you know, the fact that the city or the state approved a reservoir over these areas is also problematic. So I don't even know how you deal with all that. But anyway, as an activist, right, I would have wanted to pursue some straight out legal action, some straight out response. We taking over a building, we gonna protest. You know, now we probably don't do that stuff, but whatever it was that we would do, I would be on it. I'd be circulating flyers and promoting, you know, now it's probably just promoting a change org thing. I don't even think people know how to do stuff in this technology world, but I would have definitely done whatever it is. Now I am changed, right? I have switched platforms, and instead of, you know, being that type of activist, now my activation is around getting the information out, speculating about the use of this information, speculating, you know, writing a history of this place, you I used to be like, oh, I'm gonna write me, a Harriet Tubman revenge story. I don't know. Something I would, as a writer, now I'm thinking I need to write something which includes this. I remember when I wrote Harlem Shake, I, of course, learned about the destruction of Seneca Village and how Harlem became black because black people from Seneca Village were relocated. Now, there may not have been a lot of black people in Seneca Village, and there may have already been some black people in Harlem before that, but the Seneca Village destruction is significant in the formation of Central Park. They talk about there only 250 people that lived there. I don't think so. Even if it did, it might have been shops, it might have been a flea market, who knows. I know, like, when I grew up, Delancey Street had people living there, mostly Jewish people, and it was an important marketplace. So even if Seneca Village represented something like that, it was significant. Either way, I used it in my story about an earthquake that destroys Harlem. It wasn't about Seneca Village. There wasn't a character that was a descendant of somebody from Seneca Village. I didn't make it that tight. Really even do much research on Seneca Village, except know that it was a black town that was located in the area of Central Park that was destroyed when they moved and put Central Park there. So I didn't use it as a rallying cry for reparations or anything like that. And maybe I should have. Maybe I should have connected it direct as some poetic justice. But, at the time, I was more so overly concerned with, the fault line on 125th Street, because not only was the area that they took black people from a problematic move, so was the area that they moved black people to. I mean, they took and relocated black people on an area that had a fault line. Now, mind you, there's other fault lines in New York City. Maybe they didn't know about them. Maybe they didn't know about them at the time, but it was right after they found out the 125th Street fault line and discovered it. So they moved all these people there, black people. So that was problematic, and that's kind of what I focused a little bit more on. Now, learning about York Hill, which was a section of Seneca Village that became the reservoir, and then Seneca Village. So I'm compelled to do a little bit more, but I just put this video up where there's about 15 black towns that are under lakes. And I'm like, man, if I write about York Hill, that's just one, and I'm thinking, how do black writers, or how can black writers, the creating community, illustrators, filmmakers, you name it, whatever you got, how do you do this short of a documentary, right? Documentary becomes the easy way out. Oh, I'm just going to do a documentary on it. Yeah, but there's other things that you can do to call attention around a particular issue. I think of like What Lies Beneath. I think of Chernobyl. I think of Amityville Horror, right? Say Amityville Horror was really talking about, not Amityville Horror, Poltergeist was really talking about the history of the people that they moved the headstones on and gave the spirits some type of personality. Then that would have kind of paid tribute to a African burial ground, and kind of that's how I did it in one of my fingernail stories. If we can ever get issue 2 out, that's how I deal with it there. But it's crazy. These things that happen. I think there's things that writers can do. Let me think of some other stories. I thought of and stories that are not directly about an issue, right? It's not a documentary on Tulsa. Of course, you had Lovecraft Country that dealt with Tulsa and actually showed the incident, the massacre. But there's other ways to do it. Like, I think The Harder They Fall is actually set itself up to deal with these 40 acres and a mule communities, because many of these were exactly that. Not Seneca Village, not ones on the East Coast, but the ones that were further west. Even my story, my book, It Happened on Negro Mountain. Negro Mountain is a place that is a 40 acres and a mule place. Now, I don't know what happened to the village up there. I know that they named it Negro Mountain because the black person that, one of the leaders, the black people leaders, was killed. So they named it Negro Mountain, and they say he was defending it from indigenous Americans, which maybe I believe, maybe I don't believe. But we certainly know that plenty of other black areas were destroyed by scared white people, white racists. So to put it off on Native Americans, I think is a cop-out. And I never really accepted that. I don't even really say that part of the legend in my story. I mostly say that it was defending the place. And I don't even put who it was, because I know there were highwaymen and other slave catchers, which I think is a term that I want to replace. The human traffickers that were out looking for them, because it is what it is. So I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking maybe we could come up with a York Hill Comic Con, and just go at it direct and dedicate a opening ceremony, a portion of the program to that history, so it's never forgotten. I know, we think playing something out in a story, the man from York Hill, or the spirits from York Hill, who knows? The video that I posted talked about, all of these towns being, these black towns being underwater. It's crazy. So, I mean, maybe there's like a Da Vinci Code type of story that, there's a secret element that, when you go to these lakes, you pull out from one of these older towns. Maybe they were all connected with some type of Masonic order, African, Egyptian brotherhood, sisterhood, or something like that. And our Da Vinci, now I forgot his name, thinking of the white guy's name. The one who was the architect for the city of Washington, Benjamin Banneker. So maybe make Benjamin Banneker a part of a Masonic order, and all of these cities were a part of this order of something. But you don't want to give it too much credit, because you don't want to make it seem like white people weren't just scared of black people and that's why they did it. You don't want to make it seem like there was some super Masonic order or whatever. You want to just leave it as immature as it is, which is, they did it because they were scared of black people, right? So I don't know, but there's a way to use this history in your story, in your book, and maybe I'll, use this video as a way to springboard people listing stories that do this type of thing. I've mentioned a few in my video, but there's definitely I'm not the first person to think of things like this, and I've done it myself. So I just think we need to make a concerted effort to do this. Maybe we need to do a whole anthology of short stories that play tribute to black historical places. I have no idea. I mean, it would have been nice years ago for Black History Month, but we don't even have Black History Month anymore. So I am confused or just challenged, right, on how to be an activist in these stories. I actually know the way. I'm just challenged to sort of think of stories, but I also accept the challenge, and I receive the challenge and throw the challenge out to other writers. Don't have to even be black, man. If you just feel liberal, and you feel you have a story. Lovecraft Country wasn't written by a black person, you know. In ways, Wakanda is a similar thing. It's not written by a black person. So if you're not black, there's still ways that you can make this history real. I've also tried to do this with Indigenous American history. I have a beautiful story that I have yet to write about Chief Tuscaloosa, and that's all I'm gonna say about that, because I don't want. So if I call anybody, I call Chief Tuscaloosa, and I call Queen Hatshepsut, and those are my two historical figures that I want to write on, and I'm still doing research on Queen Hatshepsut. All right, but anyway, that's that. Yo, thank you. Share this video, like it, subscribe, and answer my question. How do we do this? You know, I'm an activist writer now. I'm not out there in the streets, so I'm out there, and I'm in there behind the computer. All right, talk to you later. Deuces. Sci-Fi Express Lane. Jeff Carroll out.